Hi, my name is Hannah and I'm a first year at Baldwin Wallace University.
Hi, I'm Hope, and I'm also a first year at Baldwin Wallace.
I'm Amber. I'm also a first year at Baldwin Wallace.
And today we're going to share tips and tricks about how to get involved in college and how to stay balanced.
And some of the points that we're going to talk about today are how to get involved around campus, joining clubs, making friends, but keeping a focus and staying balanced with academics and social. So one of the most important things about coming into college is making friends and kind of creating that support system for yourself. For me, I made a lot of my friends just by kind of going up to people and just introducing myself and getting to know them and find out, what their majors were and what they were interested in, and you kind of just create a conversation through that. It is kind of awkward at first, especially if you're someone like me who's a little bit more shy and reserved. So you just kind of have to break out of your comfort zone a little bit, and then you'll make a lot of different friends with different interests and similar interests, and it's really helpful going into college. So being a commuter, I knew it was going to be a little bit more difficult to make friends, so I kind of made it a priority at first to make sure that I got involved in a couple different clubs. I picked 2 clubs that were part of my major, so I'm in a pre-physical therapy and an athletic training club. And then I also picked one that I'd always kind of been interested in, which was Habitat for Humanity. And through those 3 clubs, I've met a lot of different people. For my majors, it's been nice because it kind of gives, you get to know people who have been, a lot of upperclassmen who have kind of like been where you've been, and they're very helpful, and it's good to kind of have that base. So I think it's really important to join clubs and kind of just get to find your little clique of people that you want to associate with.
So when I first came to college, I was really sort of shy, but then I learned that if you just go up to people and say hi, like it might be awkward and people might think you're weird, but it helps. Because the way I made my first friend, we were at the honors retreat, which is just something where you go to a camp and meet a lot of people before your first day of college. And I literally just went up to her and said, "Hi, I'm Hope. Do you want to go to dinner?" And she's like, "Yeah." And so we're friends now. So I guess just it's okay to be awkward because you'll find other people who are awkward, and it's just helpful just to put yourself out there. And joining clubs is good too, like Hannah said. I'm in Habitat for Humanity too, and that's the only one I'm in, but I met a lot of really cool people through that who I still talk to and who I'll be talking to all 4 years of college. So really it's just helpful to get out of your comfort zone and just force yourself to interact with people. So that's how I did that.
Right. I met most of my friends that live with me, and is how I did that is basically I just kind of made my room in off limits area. Like I hung out in the common area, did my homework out there. I always stayed out there because the amount of people that just flushed in, I was able to meet like everyone that lived with me and always talk to them and get to know them, and just now I can say that pretty much almost everyone in my building I'm really close with now. And that's just given me a good group of friends, and even outside of the building I'll just tag along with people going to lunch, and that's how I made a lot of my friends. And also I'm in a few clubs. I'm in Chinese Club and in Actus. Those have both allowed me to like meet people outside my building, outside my classes, and just really get to know people while sharing some common interests.
Question is, what are the benefits of joining clubs at BW?
There's a couple different benefits. So there would be in terms of just kind of the social aspect of it. So getting to know people, meet new people, connect in that kind of way, especially depending on the organization that you get involved in. At BW, we have a lot of different types of organizations. So when we encourage involvement, it can be that social aspect of connecting and meeting new people. It can be in terms of helping you kind of expand your academic horizons. So most of the majors on campus have kind of a club organization that fits with that. And so a lot of them are also like nationally recognized organizations. So like Circle K, or well, that's more of a service organization, but different ones that when you go for future jobs or internships, chances are employers say, "Oh, okay, I see you're a part of that." So it can help with networking, getting internships, things like teaching together. They meet and talk a lot about different teaching styles and things like that. So it's a little bit kind of a step beyond the classroom. And then I think Overall, it shows how you can work with other people, and especially taking on leadership roles within organizations and being able to understand that you can gain communication skills and organization skills and things along those lines through your involvement. So that when you are building your resume to eventually leave college, that you can say, you know, I've done these things, I've been able to be a part of these types of organizations, I've been able to better them in some way, here's what I've learned from them beyond being in the classroom.
Okay, great. And then our other question was, how does it benefit how well you do in college?
I think for some, being involved allows you to have a different element of like your time management and your balance as a student. And so being able to know that you have this organization meeting or this event for a club that you're in, you're able to then, use a planner more efficiently and be able to manage your time, because then you also know, well, I'm gonna have to study, or I'm gonna have to write this paper because I have this and this going on. So I think that it can help you as a student to learn those things, because I think that going back to the ideas of communication, conflict management, stuff like that, you don't always learn those in the classroom. And so bettering your ability to work with others, maybe in a group project, or being able to balance your study habits and kind of learn more about yourself, I think makes people more confident, and I think that can also benefit them in the classroom.
Okay, then going off that question, do you think there's a correlation between getting involved your first year and then staying at that college or staying in college for your second year?
I definitely think that because you can build those relationships and form those connections with people, I do truly believe that that helps in some element of retention. Obviously there's those situations that come along that you can't help, that maybe you have to leave someplace after your first year, maybe financial things, or, maybe how your major worked out, things along those lines that I get. But I think that being able, and I see it more often when I see students get involved in organizations that they really care about and are excited about, and can form that connection and friendship with others, that they're more likely to stay because they're invested in something beyond just being in the classroom and doing those kind of things.
Okay, and then our final question is, what would be your tip or recommendation for how many clubs or organizations you should join so that you're still keeping that balance between academics and involvement?
Sure. And I tell that to students a lot, and some of the students that have been here for a while know that I always say this as well, and so they share it with especially new first year students, is the idea of the power of three. So I often encourage students, when you're looking to get involved, to first start with something that can relate to your major, because that can definitely help you feel connected to other people, especially those that might not be in your class, or students that, especially if you're a first year student, maybe a senior in the organization, things along those lines, because I think it can benefit your resume and benefit you in the long run when you start to look for jobs. And then I say pick something that you are really excited about, or maybe something that you did in high school that still interests you. So maybe you were on the yearbook staff in high school, or part of the newspaper. So we have those on our campus as well. So finding something that really interests you, that you want to continue being a part of. And then if you have time, I say try a third one, which is generally something that maybe pushes you outside of your comfort zone. So being able to try something new. So maybe, you like to game, so maybe you'll join the game club because you want to be around there. Or, maybe like anime club or swing dancing. You've never done that before, so you're going to join the swing club. So being able, if you think you have time and can manage it amongst your class requirements, then to try something like that. So that's usually what I tell people, is to look at three, especially as you go, if you're going to get more involved in those things, to balance out that time. And it's really the idea of the quality of your experience more than the quantity of experiences that you have.
So, in college, we've learned that it's really important to balance your time, because there's so many things to do, and you don't really realize how many things to do until you're bogged down with work, because there's school and work and clubs and friends and family and free time and sleep and eating. It's so much, and you have to make sure that you balance it right. And there are a lot of ways to do that, and
Yeah, and I guess, and going off of that, for me, I know it was really, time management is a really big thing in college, because you're gonna want to have your social life with your friends, you're gonna want to have clubs, you're gonna have to keep track of meetings, especially if you're involved in a lot, and you also have to make sure you're keeping up with your academics, because it does start to kind of pile up. And so for me, what I did is I literally got a planner that was it depends on what you want, but I got mine that's by the hour every day, and I actually color coded it depending on if I was working, or if I had a club meeting, or if I had something important, or if I had a big test or paper that was due. That was a really good way for me to kind of get myself on track and know how much time I have for free time or hang out with friends. So that was really helpful, I think.
I do almost the same thing, but I just make weekly lists of things that I have to get done day by day. And I even include eating and sleeping in there because otherwise I don't do it. So, and that, like, you would think that you wouldn't forget to eat, but it's possible because you have so many things to do and so little time that you just don't have time for important things. So it's really important to put everything in your schedule and don't think that you can't schedule because it's really hard if you don't. So,
Yeah. I've had some problems with balance, but I've kind of figured it out a bit. That's what I like to do for activities is I have a calendar on my phone, and as soon as something comes up, I'll immediately punch it in there so I won't forget about it. And then the entire day I'll see that little reminder on my phone, so I remember to do that. And along with that, every day I like to make a list of things I just want to get done that day. Because it can be very stressful just to think about what needs to be done at the end of the week or this thing's coming up Friday. So it's easier to just take it a little chunk at a time and say, hey, today I want to get this task done, and then you can go to bed saying, you know, I got what I need to get done.
so balance is really important, and there are a lot of ways to do it. And you might be different than us, but that's just how we do it. So